What's up? Welcome back to the channel if you're returning, and if you're new here, thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to stick around. There's plenty more where this video is coming from. I revealed a couple weeks back that I bought this car. If you haven't seen it yet, or if you haven't checked out my last video, be sure to do so. But this is my new to me and very much not new in general 64 AMC Rambler. I picked it up off of Facebook Marketplace. I saw it for sale. I figured I'd give a full tour, kind of go around, show it off a little bit. So, said that I'd do that in the last video. Here's the official tour. I'll do a quick walk around and then I'll get inside and start it up. Tarp's laying on the ground here because the doors leak a bit of water. Talk more about what's been done, what is to be done, and how we're looking. Gonna hop inside right here. You can see the very red interior. Sit down and see if she'll start up. I haven't started it since Friday. Today is Tuesday, so see how she does. Pump the gas a little bit. Stall out a little bit on me. Giving it some gas. Seems to be idling consistently now. I don't know how well you can hear that. I'll pop the hood for you, show you what we're looking at. Now that things are good and started up, I'm going to pull down to a good recording spot. I'll get recording and then I'll give you the grand tour. Alright, I'm at a good point where I can stop. I'm going to turn it off real quick. We'll hop out. I'll show you all around. Start up front. So, Rambler. Printed nice and pretty across the front. Got your dual headlights, your low beams on the left, your high beams on the right. Blinkers on the bottom. I'll turn them on now to show you. Headlights turn on here with this pull knob right here. So you can see you got your parking lights, then your headlights, parking lights, and headlights. High beams are activated down there. You can see the button right behind your pedal. Hit that, you'll see this red light come on the dash. And there are your high beams. The old girl comes fully decked out with a nice metal chrome bumper. Don't make them now like they used to, as they always say. Underneath of the hood, which you can see has had some paint fab work done before. Previous owner that sold it to me said that he didn't do any of this work. It was the guy before him, so not too sure what the story was or what the look was there, but it's got kind of a patina look to it right now. It's not finished, not clear coated, but I might do that soon. Hood latch is right in here. You just pull out like that, hood pops, and then you lift it up. I'm going to put my phone down real quick so that I can open it up. And then that just lifts up like so. Beautiful. Under the hood here sits a 287 cubic inch V8. It's a 4.7 liter V8 actually, which is the same size as the Lexus. So you can see it is tri-poised power right there. Not 100% sure what exactly that means. I got my Costco battery right here, which you can see was made in October of 2023, so not too old by any means. I have that piece of styrofoam on there just because this battery is a bit big for in here. I don't know if it's the stock size or what, but I have it covered up just so that it doesn't ground out against my hood up there. There isn't really a ton to see underneath of here. It's, at the end of the day, just a big block V8 that sits under the hood. You can see that there are some interesting AMC designs. You can see the wing nuts that hold on the valve covers here. Never seen that before on another engine. Dipstick that sits right down there. Plugs and plug wires. I'm going to check the plugs in a short minute whenever I work on this next. See how the plugs look on there. Plugs can tell you a lot about how your engine's running, so I'll be sure to look at that. You have your old washer fluid reservoir, so you can just see just how old that thing is. I mean, it's a big pouch. You have your horn right here, which I'll show you later. Love the sound of that thing. Power steering reservoir down here. So yes, this does have power steering, even back in 64. Big radiator up here. Keeps your engine nice and cool. You see that the hose is recently redone, as well as all of the seals and gaskets around there. I believe the thermostat's right in there. Haven't popped it open, so I'm not 100% sure, but it does seem to be keeping a good temperature. Oil fill up in here. Air cleaner, air filter, whatever you want to call it right there. And you can see over here that you got your blower motor. The heater core blower motor system is jumped out at the current moment. I'll explain why shortly. You can see down there that that is also an open inlet because of that, but not too much to see aside from that. I believe I covered everything. Wiper motor right here, which I'll have to check out because the wipers don't 100% seem to want to work. Alternator. Fuel pump down there was recently rebuilt. So fuel pump's recently rebuilt. Carburetor is recently rebuilt, which is nice. And over here you can see your brake master cylinder, which is very important because this thing does have manual brakes, manual discs all around, so it's definitely a little bit challenging to stop, but nonetheless, as long as you get used to it, it's not too bad. So I believe that's everything covered under the hood. I mean, drop a comment if there's anything you have a question on. Otherwise, let's move on to the side. I'm going to keep going along with the side profile here in the exterior. We're here on the driver's side now. Getting nice and close here, you can see the 770 badge. I believe the 3 trim levels offered with this car were 550, 660, and 770. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put that in a little subtext right here, but I do know for a fact that 770 was the highest trim level. Down on the wheel wells, you can see the old R emblem. I really like the Rambler logo that they used for the time, that kind of cursive, cool font looking R right there. These are 14-inch tires right here. Nice little hubcaps in the middle. Don't see that too often these days. You also see the V8 badge right here. Once again, I love the badging of old cars like this. It's always cool to see the different fonts, the different ways that they represented things. You just don't see it on cars like that anymore, or on cars, modern cars anymore, that is. Here's the only exterior mirror on this car. Driver's side mirror right there. You can see that there's a two-tone paint job. Top is white, body's maroon. It's got that patina look to it like I mentioned. I don't know if I'm going to keep that or if I'm going to try to make it look nicer, update it with a fresh coat of paint. We shall see. Got your push button door handles right here. Key slot down below. Same deal here. And then nothing too much changes in the back. Same wheels, same tires. Your white roof once again. I do like in the back wheel wells how that slope is uneven, you could say. It goes more slanted towards the back and it's more straight down up front. It's a cool look to it. Gas cap here, something else that I like. It's kind of hard, so gotta pop it real good. It just blends in. It, quite frankly, is one of the pieces of the body, so I mean, you lose this, it's pretty obvious. Twist it back. Locked in. Once again, love that angle right there. Now, one of the other things that you don't ever see any automakers doing these days is using cursive fonts like this. This is also a classic model. It's an AMC Rambler Classic 770. As you can see by the classic badge right there. Here we find our way to the back. Back windshield's pretty stout, provides good headroom in the back. This is one of my favorite features here. Not even a feature really, but something that I plan to keep. The old AMC Rambler Club, which I actually looked up. It still is around in 2023 as I'm recording this, so I'll have to look more into that, more into their information, see what all kind of perks they offer, because apparently the owner of this car was once a member of that. Moving along here. You can see your taillights right here. It's a taillight turn signal combo. You have the same thing on both sides. Reverse lights sit down here. Taillights sit up here in their own piece of chrome. And then you can see you got the Rambler Classic badge on the right. And Tidewater Rambler of Easton, Maryland on the left. I looked up and did find a little bit about that dealership online. If I can find more, I'll post a few screenshots here. But yeah, as you can tell by the Rambler/AMC dealership status that it has, that dealership hasn't been around for quite some time. I believe AMC went defunct in '83. Haven't been around since then, so not too much going on there. Here on the passenger side, not too much different there. Once again, the 770 badge sits here. This is about as bad as the body rust gets, so not too bad, all things considered. I can grind that down, wire wheel that down a little bit, same deal with what's up here, and then patch it from there, so it shouldn't be too bad. Same wheels, same tires, not too much different, like I said. All things considered, pretty much the same thing. You have your antenna on this side, so sticks up here. Chrome outlining the windows. Same door handles. Same badging. Same profile pretty much. I'll start the interior tour here with the trunk. Not too much exciting in here. You have a little light up here. Here you can see some patchwork that was done. The trunk seal used to leak pretty badly according to the old owner, the one that sold it to me. He said that it was leaking a good bit all around the seams here, so he did his best to replace it. kind of gutted out what was there, put in this new seal, and he said that for the most part it holds. It's not perfect, but it does hold pretty well. And you can see right here that some rust did start to form, so he did pretty much what I intended to do in some other areas. He sanded it down, grinded it down a little bit with the wire wheel, and patched it up there, so no more leaks, no more rust spread, which is pretty good given that this car is pretty rust-free. That's one of the things that sold me on it, and I'll show you that shortly. All things considered, though, there's really nothing too special in here. It's just mainly the light, like I showed you, the spare tire and the jack, and then just some storage space. Bare metal, so pretty much as any old car is. Slowly close this, take my keys out because I don't want any more scratches. Catch them with my foot there. I tried. There's the trunk. Let's make our way back into the fun part, the driver's seat. Pop the door here, and here we are. Showing the door itself, you have your little good old smoker's vent window, so crack that open either way. There you go. Shut that. You have your door handle, which is kind of holding on for dear life here. I'll try to get that reupholstered or something, fix that a little bit at some point. You have your door handle here. Up unlocks the door, and to lock the door you can actually push down on it, and it'll lock the door from the outside. Here you have your roll up and roll down windows. Nothing too special there. And that's about all the door has to offer. The car was given to me with this big red blanket. As you can see, it is unfortunately covering some tears in the stitching of the seats. You can see some rips here, but fortunately it just looks like the top upholstery except for right about here. All things considered, though, springs are still here, springs are still intact, so I can't complain. The car is almost 60 years old. It's 59 years old at the time of recording, so at the end of the day, it is what it is. Throw the blanket back over top. Show you some more. I'll hop into the driver's seat here. And here you can see the big wide spoke steering wheel. I have the camera on wide right now, and you can see that it is barely even in the picture if I back my phone up all the way. Show you all the dash controls here. You have your parking brake release. Pull that. Go ahead and push that pedal. It's back on. Here you have your fan speed, which if I turn that on, you can hear that it works, but the blower motor will need some work. I'm not too afraid to get into that. Hopefully it won't be anything too bad, but I'll rip that apart. For your air temperature, you can set it to high, set it to off. Your light switch that I was telling you about earlier, pull it out, push it in, turn it on and off. It's got two settings, parking, brakes, and lights. There you go. And I found that you can also turn this when it's out like a modern car, and when you do that, it actually brightens or lowers the dash. Onto the dash, you can see your big, cool-looking, old-fashioned speedometer there. You have 0 through 12, that is 0 through 120 miles per hour. I got your temperature gauge on the left, which doesn't work, and your fuel gauge on the right, which doesn't work, and your speedometer in the middle that only works when it's above 30. So I'll definitely have to take a look at that. I might put an auxiliary thermostat just to actually get things reading more accurately, get an actual feel for temperature if that one on the left doesn't work. And the fuel gauge, I might have the fuel tank out sooner rather than later just to take a look and see if I find anything that looks wrong. Maybe it's the sending unit, I don't know. You'll also see your 2 dash lights that this thing has, the whopping 2 dash lights that this thing has of all the dash lights the cars have these days. You have your alternator light and you have your oil light. The alternator light actually came on when I was doing a test drive. It sputtered out on me. We couldn't figure out what was wrong and then realized that the alternator had become disconnected. So fortunately, just throwing the connector back on was enough to get it up and running again. Oil, haven't seen that on. Praying I don't see that on. And then you can see that it has 84,846 and almost 0.2 of a mile on it. Underneath of that reads Weather Eye. I believe that Weather Eye was the heating system in this. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll show you that when I get a chance. Back to the steering wheel again. You can see it does have a little crack up here. Kind of is what it is. Not too worried about that. Turn signal stalk here. Doesn't move forwards or backwards. Nothing too much to show. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. Wait, no. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. Sorry, it's been a long day. Center of the steering wheel here reads Prindle, pretty much. Park reverse, neutral drive, low gear. Works just fine. It's got a 3-speed automatic in it, and it is shifted by this good old column shifter right here. You can see as well, power steering. It does in fact have power steering, which I've mentioned it does have power steering under the hood, I believe, but manual brakes. My favorite part about the steering wheel, though, isn't anything actually on the steering wheel. It's this bad boy right here. I mean, listen to that horn. I don't know if you could hear that echo. I could do that all day. I just love the sound of that horn. Looking at my pedals here, we have three. We have my parking brake right here, we have my brake pedal right here, and we have my accelerator right here. So nothing too exciting. On the right of all of that, I have my wiper switch. I have my air switch to switch it from defrost to just regular air to off. So nothing too exciting there. Wipers do have to be fixed. If you turn them on, they'll go up about maybe halfway up and then just get stuck there for a while and then slowly retreat. So I don't know if the wiper motor's bad. I don't know if the wipers are just getting stuck because they're so old. I'll take a look at that eventually. As you can see, the windshield is quite dirty. My ignition switch is right there, so that's pretty self-explanatory. I've moved over more to the middle of the car right now. I'm kind of straddling the drive shaft hump right there. I have my lighter here. You can see it's a little bit corroded, so you won't be lighting any of your cigarettes in here anytime soon, which is a good thing because I didn't want this thing to smell like cigarettes anyway. There we go. Don't want that actually heating up. I have the radio right here, which you can hear kind of has an old-fashioned crackle to it. And then this, which looks like an FM tuner for it. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure how any of this works. I'm not really sure what any of it does. I was told that this is an AM radio, that this is an FM radio. I believe that's correct. I can't get any of it to work, so in the meantime, I'll just turn that off to save battery. Here seems to be the selector. Here seems to be the volume. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Got an ashtray for the driver, an ashtray for the passenger, a little clock that unfortunately also doesn't work. I don't know what causes that to not work. Maybe I'll take a look at that. Previous owner as well said that this was reupholstered, which makes sense because this is nice and cushiony and feels like it was fresh out of the factory. Something that surprised me, actually. Greetings. Enjoy the cracked phone there, but I was actually driving this the other night, and there was a car with its high beams on behind me, and I know that in most modern cars they either have an automatic dimmer or a little switch that you can flip to dim it. I thought it would be nice if it had a switch like that, so I went up to manually adjust it, felt this, and noticed that it'll adjust just like a modern one. So someone has their high beams on behind you, flip that, and there you go. Still sitting in the middle here, you have your visors, driver's side visor, passenger side visor, which does actually have a mirror. Sitting in the passenger side here, you can see that it does say Rambler. It's very proud to be a Rambler, and I think that's pretty cool. You have your classic 770 glove box right here. Inside of my glove box here, I'll pop it open. It does have a light inside, which is actually an automatic light. Pretty nice. Just looks like some random odds and ends. Little actuator for something. Some key. Apparently another set of keys for the car that I didn't know I had until now, but that's pretty cool. I seriously had no idea that those were in there, but that's pretty cool. Anyways, I'll get the mirror folded up. I'll pop open the driver's side, passenger side door here, sorry. Then I'll show you the floor in here. Now you can see there's a good bit of wiring going on up here. At some point I'll take a look through that, see if there's anything worth seeing, but in the meantime, there's the underfloor lighting. I pointed that out in my last video. I just happened to stumble across that. I saw that switch and I was like, what in the world is that? And then I was like, that's pretty cool. So there you go. There's the pedals up close. You can see the steering column going back into there. You can see some insulation right here. Old carpet right here. Original carpet as far as I'm aware. Some old Rambler floor mats. I was also told that those are the originals. So that's pretty cool. Here on the passenger side, you can see that there is some rust starting to poke through here. So I'll be sure to take care of that as quick as I can. Ooh, and ants. Okay, that is another problem that I'll have to take care of. I'm just now becoming aware of this as I'm recording, so I'll cover that up. And then that'll be one of the first things that I get on because I don't want ants in my vehicle. Aside from that, though, there is a little bit of interior rust. The reason for that is, as you can see, these door sills are just not holding up. I mean, 60 years, you wouldn't expect them to. The previous owner did tell me a little bit about that. He was talking about the splits in here and this. Said he never really took too much of a shot at trying to fix it. More so was worried about the trunk because that was actively rusting, and I don't really blame him. But you can see this little door handle's kind of going away as well. The door sills are one of the first things that I do when I replace. And yeah, shouldn't be too hard. I might get a universal kit. I might find one online, but One more thing that I can think of, maybe I'll pop back here and show you something else that I thought was pretty cool. See, there is a recliner in here, so you can pull this in. It is a split bench seat, so if you pull it back, driver's seat has it as well. You can fold it back, lean it back, and chillax. Go ahead and close that door. Pop open the back door and show you what we're looking at. Not too different from the front doors. Sign of different times here when it's got an ashtray built into the door. Oh, and a cigarette. So somebody at some point used this door. I don't know how old that cigarette is. Previous owner told me that he never smoked in here, and I believe him. But yeah. The unfortunate part about back here is this top part is starting to peel out a little bit. Once again, 60-year-old car. I don't really expect too much different. You can see that peeling back there as well, and then this peeling on my side. Roof liner. You can see a little bit of rust in the light. It's just mainly surface rust, and this bulb is burnt out, so I will try to change that at some point. Aside from that, these seats are cushiony, like nice and soft. I really like the way they feel. There's decent leg room down here. You can see the seat belts down here, which were actually an added-on option. These didn't come from the factory with seat belts, but you could option for it, and this one obviously does have that option. And you can see here just some parts, some random odds and ends, some pieces from the fuel pump, carburetor, I believe. You can see some vehicle electronics schematics there, whatever that might be. I haven't dug through this too much at all. I was just told that there were some old parts and odds and ends in here. Middle piece here is made of leather. Once again, super cushiony, super comfortable. Go ahead and close that door. And I'll go ahead and open the other. A little bit of a creak, but once again, old car. What do you expect? Ashtray once more. If I can pop it open. Everything in this car is slowing down a little bit. I'll have to lubricate a lot of stuff. There we go. No ashtray in here, or no ash in here, no cigarettes in here. Close it up. This handle's looking to be in a bit better shape. Nothing too exciting down here. Seats, seat belts, floor room. And in here, just some more door sill seals, old hoses, things like that. Jumped out from the heater core probably. You can see right here, American Motors Sales Honors Club honors. So, this must have been an old AMC salesman right there from 1966. So, antique right there. Same guy here, won it again in 68. Cool. But yeah, there you go. You can see the split bench right there. Kind of see that one's a little bit more reclined. Throw this back over. And that's about all there is to really show in the interior and exterior. Let me start her up and you can hear it from the outside. So this is a quick little basic exterior and interior tour. I have some more stuff to show on, about, and around it. Some more storytelling to do, so I'll do that shortly. I'm going to drive back in the meantime and park this. Pull my e-brake. Turn off my high beams. Throw it into drive. It does have a bit of a clunk when it goes into drive, as you can see there, but... And then there's my speedometer that I told you was going a bit haywire. Yeah, there's a better highlight of that speedometer, like I was saying. You see the dash lights are on right now. If I turn it off, you can see that turns off, and turn it back on, that turns back on. Back up at Colby's, and it seems like the temperature gauge actually has moved, so I'll go ahead and shut it off. And there we go. So that's it for the actual physical tour. I'll give a bit of an explanation now, or whenever I feel like recording again, on how I got it, and what I think of it, and what's to be done, and just general things like that.